involved?
Yeah, I was still doing it. Like I played football for I think 4 years after high school.
Before we get into, you DJing, how did you feel when you left like high school? Did you feel kind of bitter about high school? Did you feel happy? Were you feeling ready for the world? Like, how people
Man,
kind
to be honest, I was so ready. I was like, I want to leave high school.
and what, like, in a way where like I had fun in high school, or was it like I was confused and high school was just really challenging? Like, what made you more ready to leave or finish high school?
I think I had mixed emotions and feelings probably the last few years of high school.
And what were they? About what?
Don't know.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you kind of in that like phase of like, what am I going to do next?
Yeah,
like this has been my life for such a long time. I think I was just ready to like, enter the world and explore it.
Yeah.
And see what I had to offer. I was really interested in traveling. Like I think
okay.
when I left high school, that was like at the forefront of my mind.
Did you get that done as soon as you left, or eventually?
Not as soon as I left. I think 2 years later, in
Yeah, right.
2017, I traveled Europe and a bit of North Africa for like 5 months, which
That's
was
good.
like super nice.
How was going to North Africa, considering you're from an African background?
Yeah, it was different. Like, I think my only other experience of being on the continent was South Africa, like I told you before when we were chatting before the interview. But that was like age 3, so like I don't have any like solid memories. Only things that like my mom and uncles have told me and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I'm a black guy born in Australia, and when I was in Morocco, a lot of these people would come up to be like, yo, bro, like, where you from? Where you from? And I'd be like, from Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah.
Be like, no, where are you actually from? And I'm like, I'm raised here. But then I'd have to explain.
Yeah.
I've got
that's
a white mother.
Yeah. How did you feel when people came up asking those questions, wanting to know more, not in a way to like offend you, but in a way to be like, oh, wow, especially when you're in somewhere else, another country, like, oh, finally another black guy or whatever. How did you feel then and there when you were like, man, I actually don't know much about where I'm from other than being from Australia and being raised by a white mother? How did you then feel then? Were you like, man, I need to kind of figure out where I'm really from? Is that when it all started to kind of go down and follow, where you're from and, look into that a bit more?
Yeah, I think specifically on that trip, I don't think those situations really, they didn't necessarily like present with me like, the fact that I'm like, oh, I don't know where I'm from. I was just kind of like happy to be there, happy to be on the continent.
And wait, how old were you then? Was it straight after high school?
I was probably 19 or 20, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think, again, to give a context, like grew up here in Melbourne with a New Zealand mother and West African dad, but I didn't grow up with my dad or really in connection or proximity to my dad. So I never really knew my heritage for a long time, which was, challenging at the best of times. But I think I don't know specifically, like I can't pinpoint the exact time where like I was like, whoa, okay, I don't know where I'm from. I need to figure this out right now.
Yeah.
Probably maybe as like a 12 or 13-year-old, but not really aware, because like when you're that age, you're just kind of happy to be doing what you're doing and not really aware of like, yo, man, my heritage, it plays out in so many different ways, like we know now.
And it sounds like as well, I was very lucky enough as well, because what primary schools that I went to and the high schools that I went to, I didn't really think about it too much because I was welcomed everywhere. Yeah. I was very lucky, to be honest. Like,
from what I know, you had a pretty decent South Sudanese community at primary school.
And I went to I lived in Richmond, and at the time, it still is, but it was majority Africans and Vietnamese people.
Yeah, for sure.
And we felt like, with the people I was hanging out with, we didn't really we just felt like we just were together. Like it was cool.
You had your own community.
Yeah, we had our own community, and even I went to even going to high school, CBC was, a lot of people that I went to primary school with also came down to CBC with us.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. So
there was barely anyone from my primary school.
Yeah, that's why.
There was 2 people.
And that's why I was very lucky, because like I still had friends that I grew up with from prep or U1.
Yeah.
all the way down through to high school.
Johnny Tran.
And yeah, you know, those guys. But what I'm getting at is that like I got to a point where like I was like, this is safe. Like I forgot about like where I was actually from because like there were so many different people. And I think I was more interested in their culture.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, you know, Vietnamese and the Greeks and all that. But I think for me, it wasn't until I think when I was like, oh my God, I don't know anything about my culture was, I think when Black Lives Matter, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big...
You make a good point, actually. That was quite a pivotal moment for me. Excuse me.
Yeah, that made me go like, oh, wow, like a lot of people are really
I think for a lot of people I knew that...
Yeah.
From the African diaspora, speaking to them and their experience of that was a very can't speak.
That's okay.
Pivotal time.
Yeah. Because you realize, oh my God, so many people.
And we're all made to, like, at that time, I think we'd all been in lockdown for what, 2-3 months or something?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, that was really cool seeing everyone come together for one amazing cause. And I was like, man, like it is cool to be, you know, black. It's cool to figure out your culture. It's cool to, you know, there's so many people who are backing you for stuff like this. And I was like, you know what, like I don't know anything about my culture, and I think that's when it started, and this is the reason why I've started this whole project.
Big ups to you, man.
Yeah. When do you reckon, was it because you're saying now probably around the same time as I did, what was your first steps to kind of going like, all right, I need to start somewhere? Where did you start? And because it would have been hard because, you know, you grew up with your mum, so where was the first place you started to look for my sense of identity? Yeah.
That's a good question.
Was it because, you know, we kind of went through a rabbit hole just then, but because we're about to talk about your DJing, do you reckon DJing kind of led you to go like, oh, okay, I'm now hanging out with different people?
No, that's a good point. I think musically, maybe I was collecting or exploring a lot of black music.
Yeah, okay.
So unconsciously, I was always drawn to that, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I wanted to move. That was the beat I wanted to get down to.
Yeah.
That was the groove, you know? But
and
I never...
that's been planted in you.
Exactly. It's like, it's just like an innate thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really describe it. Like, it's just like... You feel it.
Yeah.
So,
because even Charlotte, she was real cool because she kind of started bringing like her African beats that she liked and Afro, Afro beats or whatever.
Yeah, Afro beat and like Future Club music.
It's
she
so
plays
cool.
A lot. Yeah.
So shout out Charlotte.
Yeah, shout out to Charlotte. That killer Boiler Room. I was watching that last night.
That was amazing. I saw that.
Had the crowd going nuts.
I loved the last song, and I still listen to it every single day today.
The choir.
The choir really one. What's his name?
Vocal.
Yeah.
It's cool.
What's it called? Melodies from Heaven.
She actually played that at the Black Christmas.
That's amazing. Did she? I love that song. I wish I was there. I wish I came there earlier. We're going to talk about that as well soon. And we need more of that because I missed it because I was too busy having another guest here. Yeah. But so let's talk about the music and like how that maybe, you know, would have started, you know, a path that you're now on.
I think, I mean, I can speak directly to Trib Q and my motive behind that. I felt like I really wanted to create like a music platform for myself.
Yeah.
Where I could share the sort of music that I wanted to play or like hear the sort of music that I wanted to play. And I think growing up in Melbourne, I never really saw a black-led music platform like that, and I felt like it was quite a gap here in Melbourne, and that was always kind of my intention to bring that energy and create space for that.